welcome to the Veterans Ascend Weekly Podcast. Today, we are honored to talk with Nick Black. Nick is the founder and CEO of GoodUnited, which we will hear about today, and he is also the founder and vice chairman of the board of Stop Soldier Suicide. Nick is an airborne ranger qualified Army officer that served as a platoon leader and company battalion fire support officer for the 1503 Infantry and 173rd Airborne Brigade Combat Team during 27 months deployed to combat zones in Afghanistan. Awarded a myriad of medals to include 2 Bronze Stars and an Army Commendation Medal for Valor, we have the privilege today to hear about Nick's journey, GoodUnited, and his advice to our veteran community. Nick, thank you for your time today. Please tell us about GoodUnited, how it got started, and your role.
Sure. So GoodUnited helps nonprofits connect with their donors where their donors spend time, and that's on social media. And where the concept for GoodUnited came from was my work co-founding a nonprofit called Stop Soldier Suicide. The biggest pain that we had at Stop Soldier Suicide was donor retention. 9 out of 10 donors don't come back, and there's a good reason why. The experience that they have just isn't up to snuff. So my business partner, Jeremy Berman, and I believe that technology could help solve that problem. How do we use technology to give every single donor a meaningful experience? And that was really the starting point for GoodUnited.
Excellent. All right, so tell us about your journey from Army Ranger to the CEO and founder of a nonprofit and then ultimately GoodUnited. What was your biggest challenge?
Oh, wow. Everything. Everything was a challenge. My second deployment was 2010, and we went to Wardak province in Afghanistan. I made a decision that I was going to get out of the military, and I applied to grad school. Luckily enough, I got accepted into University of North Carolina's MBA program. I had the second lowest GMAT score in the entire class, so they really had to let in 10 or 15 eggheads to get me in the door. But with that, I had the opportunity to really learn about all the different aspects of business, and I really understand what I wanted to do. I saw what I did not want to do. And so the opportunity for entrepreneurship stuck out to me, and that you have an opportunity to create and innovate and be able to tackle problems that you're passionate about. So after business school, actually before business school, I started a nonprofit, and no one ever accused me of being a nonprofit type of person. But through that experience, I really got to learn and see an industry from the inside out and see all the different challenges that nonprofits face. So that was really the catalyst behind GoodUnited was Stop Soldier Suicide, and the catalyst behind Stop Soldier Suicide was my experience in the military.
Thank you, Nick. It's great. It's a great journey, and I think you hit on a key point there for a lot of veterans to understand as much what you want to do as what you don't want to do.
Right.
Because there's a lesson in there, right, to understand exactly what you don't want to do, especially as you transition out of the military and into this big world of the civilian community. There's so many choices out there. So finding out what you don't want to do is almost just as important as finding out what you want to do. So
I think that's spot on. A lot of the former soldiers that I work with to reach out to me, it's challenging to try to help them because they want to find a job, but they don't know what they want to do. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, they know what they do not want to do. And as I tell, veterans getting out, do your recon, right? So you never hit an objective in the military before you have a firm understanding and situational awareness of what you're getting yourself into. Do the same thing in the civilian world. Find other veterans to talk to, understand what this industry is about, what the job is like, and then start to systematically figure out what you do and don't want to do. But just treat it like any other military operation.
Absolutely great advice. And that's kind of, sort of the mission of Veterans Ascend, where we're focusing on the skills a veteran has so that they can take those skills and traverse a multitude of civilian occupations, right. Not just what they did in the military or, they're struggling with, well, I don't want to do what I did in the military. How do I take the skills I have and go to a different career? So it's really doing that homework and looking at the skills you bring to the table and where those skills can be utilized in the civilian community. So great. So you've kind of talked about your advice for the transitioning service member. What if they want to start their own company? What would your advice be?
Don't do it. Really understand who the customer is. So if you don't understand the industry, don't start a business. You have to have a firm, visceral feeling and understanding of the pain that you're trying to solve in order to build a great business. And someone told me, and it's always resonated with me, no successful entrepreneurs ever wish they knew their customer less. So without knowing your customer, without knowing everything that they're going through, you never just want to hop into something, think you're going to start something off. And I failed at that several times. But if you do want to start a business and you do understand the customer, do understand the pain, really make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into and do all the legwork to figure out your business model, your value proposition before you move an inch, whether that's, allocating money or getting people on your team. You want to win the battle before it's ever fought. And there's, just like, again, like the military, all these lessons are learned. You just need to apply it into a new world. So, make sure you do your homework and never jump into something before you have a true understanding of everything that can go wrong and how you've mitigated all those risks.
That's great advice. And I've read several articles, as being an entrepreneur myself, I've read several articles about that. It's like you see something like, oh, I want to open a laundromat, because how hard can it be to just put a bunch of washing machines and dryers in and manage it? But then all the things that go into that, the maintenance and all the behind the scenes things people don't take into account, all the administrative things that go into running a business. And, you have a passion for something and you just want to do that, but you've got to do all the other things that come along with running the business. So that's great advice. Absolutely do your homework and understand everything that you're getting yourself into. So
it's, absolutely echoing on that. One of the things I share with entrepreneurs is that you have to be very comfortable with being uncomfortable and being the dumbest person in the room. I've been fortunate to be a part of a lot of different great units, a lot of different great organizations, and had leadership roles. But still to this day, whether I'm talking to a lawyer or an accountant or an engineer or a marketer or a salesman or a tax person, every conversation you have as an entrepreneur, you don't know what they're talking about. They're experts, you aren't. So you have to get up to speed to understand, all right, what intent am I trying to reach? And that is a very long and hard road to try to understand all these different aspects of a business that isn't what you're doing, right? So like that's how difficult the whole piece is. And by no means have I figured it out, but it's just a challenge I continue to work through day to day.
Absolutely. I'm there with you. So, all right. So the last question here is, when a veteran is struggling to find a civilian career, what would you recommend to put their best foot forward?
Go back to the people you trust. So, most veterans have a pretty strong network of men and women that they served with in the military. Leverage LinkedIn, leverage existing tools, build your team again. Don't just go wandering off into trying to figure out how to get a banking job. Figure out who in your unit is now in banking, who in your unit is doing things, people that you might have been associated with in the past. And again, do talk, right? Communicate. Ask the questions. Ask the dumb questions that you're not truly understanding. The biggest gap that I see with veterans is they don't understand they're speaking a different language. And every industry speaks their own different language. So if you're going in with an 11 Bravo resume, an 11 Bravo attitude to a consultant position, you're not going to get the job. Nothing to do with you, but you're just not speaking the language. So you have to figure out and do your homework, who is in your network that can help you understand how to speak the language of the business and help you get that foot in the door. So, don't go full speed, don't knock your head through, you don't need to work harder, you need to work smarter. And I think that's a challenge for hard-headed people like me.
It is. I can relate, and it is good advice, because it's one thing to find out in your network how they can help you, and not that you're asking them to get you a job, but you're asking them for their advice on the company that they work for, the industry, just something that they can help you understand and get a better education around the civilian career community, which will ultimately lead them to connecting you with the right people. So great advice. All right, Nick, thank you so much for your service to our country. Thank you very much for all that you do for our military families. Listeners, for more information on Good United, please visit their website at www.goodunited.io. And to support Stop Soldier Suicide, please visit their website at www.stopsoldiersuicide.org. And for more information on Veterans Ascend or to sign up today, please visit our website at www.veteransascend.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day.